Hello guys. The last video I made was a little bit inaccurate. I was not in the right mental state, so I deleted that one, and I'm making this one now. So I was just at the supermarket, and I think that people don't need to read so much into pickup artist stuff or game or even black pill. The reality is around you. You can see it. You just notice it. It's very obvious. It may not be obvious because it's shrouded in lies that women give, lies that unknowing men give. But the truth is very apparent when you just look around you. I was at the supermarket just now, and there's a very attractive girl, and I walked up to her. She was taller than me, and I walked up to her, and at first she looked a little bit cold, obviously because she saw me and I'm not tall, whatever. And she didn't look very excited to talk to me at all. And then I started talking, and then I said I lived in Chicago and everything, blah, blah, blah. And she got excited by that, and then she started getting more enthusiastic. She started smiling, laughing. I told her, I just found you really attractive, to be honest, blah, blah, blah. And she started laughing, and then this giant dude comes from behind. And then I'm like, oh. And I was like, oh, never mind. And then I just walked away, because that was probably a guy that she's dating. Now, that's kind of amazing, though. I had an instinctive reaction to just walk away by seeing a much taller dude, even though I'm a pretty strong guy, and I probably would have taken that guy out, to be honest. But it's funny how I assumed that he was the boyfriend. If it was an ugly, short guy who was like with a lisp, like I would have been like, oh, maybe it's a gay best friend. But because this guy was tall and I didn't see his face, but he's probably decent looking. But because he was tall and kind of a bigger dude, I was thinking, okay, that's probably her boyfriend, And I also got a threat indicator, like it was like a natural thing. It was instinctive. I thought maybe this is a person who's a threat to me. Whether if it's a really small dude, I wouldn't get that threat signal. But at the same time, I would be respectful to the small dude if that was his girlfriend. I'm not the type of guy who would, just because an opportunity presents itself, I wouldn't do something immoral in order to get, I wouldn't try to hurt some dude's life to get something I wanted. It's just not right, But so I saw this happen, and then I go downstairs into where the produce section is of the market, and I see more attractive girls, and they're all with guys. They're all with guys who are tall, not tall, just taller than them, but tall in general. And some of them were good looking. Most of them were good-looking guys, too. But all the pretty girls that were younger were with tall guys. Now, here's the thing. Let's be honest. A lot of us guys in this circle, the black pill circle, we are not going to settle with, or we do not want a 300-pound woman who looks deformed as our partner. We don't want that. Some guys have much lower standards, but most guys, I don't agree. I think most guys want something good. I think the thing that guys are really hurt by is not that they can't get any girl. Some guys can't get any girl, but a lot of guys they can't get what they want. They can't get the type of girls that they want, the SMV that they want. Now, yes, the incels, maybe I'm speaking from a Chad Light perspective. I would say I'm like a Chad Light type guy. I might be speaking from a Chad Light perspective. For me, I have been able to get girls to sleep with. I've been able to get relationship opportunities and relationships in my life. But I tell you, I've never been able to get a girl that I was actually attracted to. It's like it's as if there's a SMV barrier, like a level, like a limit I can reach when it comes to women. Like if a woman is far more attractive, it's much less likely that I will get with her. She's generally going to be preferring a guy who is tall, better looking, etc. Right? So one of the things that definitely doesn't sit like that I was thinking was that I think the thing that bothers a lot of guys is that they can't get what they want when it comes to women, and they realize through the black pill that no amount of work is going to change that, because women primarily choose men based on their physical attractiveness, and there's a limit you can reach. I'd say there with plastic surgery, maybe that limit is a lot, further than people realize with plastic surgery, but there's a limit. Generally, if you are a guy who is 5'7", there will be a lot less women available to date you. You still could, I've definitely seen guys who are shorter get with girls, like a lot of girls actually. I know a guy that I used to know in San Francisco who's very good with women. He sleeps with a lot of girls, and a lot of girls like him, and he's 5'6". He's tiny and he's Asian, but he's very confident and he's very good looking for an Asian guy. But yeah, the fact that I can get a bunch of crap I don't really care about, but am I able to get what I want? I haven't been able to so far. I've been able to get things that are women and relationships that are not as high in SMV as I devoted my efforts to, having. Right? So I work, I looks max, I work on my stuff, I do my self-improvement for a particular level of women, a particular caliber of women, right? And I noticed that I have not been able to get that so far. I'm not saying that it's never going to happen. I'm still improving. I'm still coming from like a unattractive guy to an attractive guy position. So I'm still not at my potential, but I don't know if it's also the age thing, like I don't know. I'm just kind of in a I'm just in a situation where I'm thinking, I assume a lot of you guys have a similar situation where you guys are, some of you guys can get with women, but it's like the women that you want, it's as if it's like, it just doesn't happen. I think that SMV is probably the barrier. Those women are of higher SMV than you, so in order to have them, you have to increase your SMV the best you can. And if you don't, they because they have men of higher SMV to get with and have relationships with. Something funny. I'll tell you guys something interesting. So the girl that I was dating for the past couple months, the girl that I was dating for the past couple months, she the day that I told her like I was wanting to take a break and like I'm not ready to settle in a relationship. I if I found the girl I like, of course I'm ready to settle in any relationship, but I haven't found that girl, and she's not that girl, right? But I told her I was wanting to take a break and stay single for a while, and then she's like, she tells me the same day she met some guy on the train who asked for her number. I was like, oh, that's great. Was he a nice guy? She was like, yeah, he was a doctor. I was like, oh, wow. So a doctor, someone who is making a good salary and intelligent and whatever. I was like, oh, that's great. Cool. And then I was like, was he an attractive dude? She said, yeah, he was very good looking and he was very tall. I was like, oh, wow. And then I was like, afterwards, man, I tell you, this dating market, it's so easy for women to get men. It's just amazing how many options are available to men. What I've learned is that the relationships and the theories and the talk around relationships between men and women, it's shrouded in lies and misunderstandings. I think one of the biggest reason it's shrouded in lies is because it conflicts with the ideals people have. People want to believe something good of this world, and they want to believe that women are good and that good things are attractive to women, and etc. They want, and they're also very they move away from pain, so psychological pain. It causes a man significant psychological pain to realize that the truth is that women are attracted to taller and better looking men. It causes a unattractive man to feel a lot of pain for that. And that is why, that is another big reason why there's so much misunderstanding around the ideas of dating and relationships. Women, I think it helps really because I've learned this as well. Majority of women are the same when it comes to how they choose men. Now, of course, there are slight differences in the sense that, like, if a girl is a rock and roll type chick, she's going to be a lot more attracted to a rock and roll type guy with a cool hairdo and stylish clothes than she would a engineer, like a software engineer. She's going to be a lot more, she'll align much better with the rock and roll guy. But what I've learned is that there are some basic elements that the vast majority of women are attracted to. There's some basic traits in a man. One of those traits being height. Vast majority of women want a man who is tall, taller than them, or much of the time taller than most guys. So she will choose the taller guy. I think I've seen it happen the other way around. I do think looks are the most important factor, to be honest. From what I've experienced, your face and your general health is more important than your height for the most of the part, as long as you're not too short. But then again, I've seen guys who are 5'6" who are very successful with women, who are more successful than me, and I'm taller. Anyways, so there's height, there's face, there are, I call them SMV aspects. I would say sexual attraction aspects. I think voice tone is one of those things. The way you smell. I think status indicators, the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, your posture, the way you behave. I do think behavior does matter, but again, how you look is a huge part of how you will behave. It really is. I think there's certain aspects, and I think it helps to just write these aspects down on in a little booklet, and then just improve on all of the ones you can improve on. I really think that helps, because the truth is, if you score high in those aspects, those main aspects, you will always have women in your life. You'll always have women in your life. Majority of women are like this. They choose men based on these superficial criteria. Women are animals. They're a primitive animal. It has it chooses men based on millions of years of evolutionary pressures, and they choose the most sexually attractive and fittest man. Survival of the fittest. There's also survival of the sexiest, right? There's the survival. It's the difference between natural selection and sexual selection. There's certain traits that are sexually attractive which have nothing to do really with survival. In fact, some of them are even contradicting our ability to survive. They're not an asset to survival. So they choose men based on these qualities. So if you go and you walk around and you think to yourself, oh, I know so much, poetry, and I met this artistic girl, and she's like, yeah, we're so alike, blah blah blah, and you go and try to ask this girl out, and she rejects you, and you're kind of like flabbergasted because you're like, oh, but I'm like this. I'm so similar to you. We got such good qualities, and we're so, you're surprised that she says no. And then you realize that she like sleeps with some sort of like football player, guy who's very rude to her and to everyone. And you try to figure out, like, wait, but she's like this artistic type of girl. Why did she sleep with this guy? Well, the truth of the matter is she didn't, these things, these qualities, like, your artistry and everything, they actually are not as important as, to most women, they're not as important as the main sexual SMV factors, which is height, face, muscularity, body fat percentage, voice tone, scent, hair, skin. These aspects are actually more, they dictate a lot more your dating life than anything that your mind and your hobbies, your tastes can do. So I'm now, trust me when I say I'm speaking in generalities. I really am speaking generalities, but it's good to keep that in mind, because you will not turn into the overweight guy on YouTube singing a song for a girl who you likes, thinking that his great singing will attract the girl when he's 300 pounds and unattractive. There is a guy like that on YouTube, and he gets no girls. There's no girls in the comment section of his video. He did not get the girl that he was aspiring towards. And I used to think that a particular girl wouldn't like me because of something I'm doing. Sometimes that is the case. Maybe I texted too much, or I was too needy, or etc. But the real reason is that there is the real reason a girl would sometimes not respond to you, in my opinion, from what I'm thinking, a girl will ghost you. The real reason is because your SMV is not high enough, and she has other men whose SMV is high. That's why she's not talking. That's why she's not texting. It's based on SMV, and I've experienced this. This is what I'm saying. I meet a girl that I actually really like, and I guess I'm not good enough because she doesn't respond. A lot of times they don't respond. Sometimes they respond at first, and then, it teeters out. They realize, wait, there's this like male model guy who's 6'4" and is a millionaire who wants to take me out. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. The ghosting is not because you don't have, majority of the time, it's not because you don't have good game. It's not because of this and that. It's because your SMV is not high enough, and you would have to increase it, or else it's not going to go anywhere. If a girl, everyone is playing to win in this world, right? We got to keep that in mind. We all are playing to win, and a lot of us have a vision of winning in our souls and in our minds. We have a vision of winning, and if we don't achieve that particular vision, we won't be happy. That's kind of how humans generally are. I think that if we don't reach our own visions of what we want, the bullshit of life, the random stuff we get, the several one night stands, etc., it's not going to fulfill us. So that's true for me, right? I have something I want to aspire towards in life, and if I don't get that, one night stands is not going to compensate for it. Sleeping with a bunch of 6s and 7s or whatever is not going to compensate for the thing that I actually want. None of that stuff really makes me happy at all. Another thing that I learned, I don't know if this is true, but I think the attractiveness of a guy really influences a girl's comfort level around you. So if you are, the more attractive the girl, I've noticed, the more she is influenced by this, by attractiveness. So I noticed one time I approached this girl who was like, she was kind of younger. She was like 19, 20. And I remember, because I've approached quite a few girls in my life, right? So I know I could approach all sorts of ages, I guess. 18 through 25 I could approach, no issues. But one day I was not looking good, right? So I wasn't looking attractive, I wasn't behaving attractive, etc. I wasn't dressed well. And I started talking to this girl, and I noticed there was a sort of like negative energy, and I noticed she looked uncomfortable. And I realized, I was thinking, what, did I do something wrong? And then I realized I was being really polite. What happened? And I realized it was probably because I wasn't attractive enough for her. When she gets older, maybe in her 30s, then and she's not as attractive anymore, maybe she'll be a lot more comfortable about my approach. I think that's why guys have to stop taking women and their words so seriously. They really put too much weight on women's thinking and words. You should only put weight on them if you want to just get with them, like get a relationship or sleep with them. But other than that, you have to realize that women are emotional thinkers. There's not much rationality or logic behind the way that they think, and their judgments of men are usually extremely inaccurate. They're really, really poor judges of character, especially of men. They have no clue how men are. They are very, very lost when it comes to understanding men. And they're just not very smart. Most women are just not very, I would say, objectively intelligent. They're just not. Some are, but most aren't. So I think men have to just definitely, if you see, do me a favor. If you ever see a girl calling some guy a creep in the middle of the road, kind of look at that girl and kind of, realize that women, majority of the time, women call guys creepy if they find them physically unattractive. Your behavior, listen, you could bring a Henry Cavill and have him say the weirdest shit to women, and most women will not call him creepy. They will be delighted by him. Most women. Of course, there's some who will call him creepy, but most women will be delighted. So think about it, man. This is the way women are. Your attractiveness dictates whether a woman will see you as a creep, which is something very derogatory to men, because it's something very derogatory to women, right? So it must be really bad. They will think of you as your attractiveness dictates whether a woman will think your approach is creepy or charming, for the most part. Now, I'm not going to get into a huge philosophical debate why that's super wrong and super effed up. I think you guys have enough brain cells to rub together to understand how wrong that is, to think that way, and to treat a man who might be a great human being. To treat a man who might be a great human being as garbage just because his face or his height isn't of a particular caliber, right? But this is how the majority of women are, subconsciously. They're not even, half the time they're not even aware of it. They tend to feel and then rationalize their feeling as the truth. What else I have to say? I also think that guys, if you ever get that, I don't know. There's this guy, Alexander Grace, who came out with a video recently today. He said, like, you should not, it's not your job to be making a woman comfortable. And I would say that I would agree with that. But I think he might be coming at it from a very myopic perspective as a decently looking white guy. I think he's coming at a very myopic perspective. There's a difference. If you make a girl uncomfortable because you're physically unattractive to her, there's a much bigger difference between if you make a girl uncomfortable because you are not respectful of her, or you are not appreciative of her, of being rude to you or someone. You know, there's a difference, right? But I'm going to tell you, I think that you guys shouldn't, it's hard to do because, you know, our emotions are hardwired. We're not exactly in control of our emotional hardwiring, right? So when we get rejected, as much as you know about the black pill, it's going to hurt. It's still going to hurt. You know, it's still going to hurt your self-esteem because it's going to reflect to you that your SMV and your desirability to women is low, right? But I think guys have to stop putting so much respect in women's thinking, and I think guys have to stop being so, influenced by women's feelings. You know, it's not your job. If a girl feels uncomfortable around you, a lot of girls are haywire. Listen, first of all, you should be like, if you're an unattractive guy and a girl is uncomfortable around you, you should think to yourself, you know, it's not your fault. It's not your responsibility to make her feel better. You don't have to. Do your own thing, you know. Of course, you don't do anything stupid like, say something that is overtly negative, etc. But it's not your job to make a girl feel good, etc. It really is not. I think the simp type guys in our society, they're definitely doing a huge disservice to the majority of men. They are supplying women with ridiculous amounts of undeserved validation. They are opening their wallets, their time, their energy, their emotions to women when women just didn't do anything to deserve it. There's a lot of it. So women have a crazy inflated ego today. Anyway, sorry, I'm going on a tangent. All right, I'm going to go take a nap. I hope you guys enjoyed the talk. I'll make more of these. If you guys have any requests, just let me know. I know a lot about a lot of things, so if you guys have any questions, I'll get to you guys soon. All right, thank you. Bye.